Good evening, everybody. This is Beyond the Buzzer for September 24th, 2020. I'm your host, Danny Thompson, checking with you tonight here on I-95 Sports Network, Single Television, Facebook Live, YouTube, anywhere you get the sound of my voice. And for the next hour and a half or 89 minutes, myself and to the right of me, my tag team partner from the three-point conversion, the Stockton to my Malone, the Kyle Naughton to my Ricky Bobby, my main man from the three-point conversion, the student of the game himself, Mr. Kyle Nash. How you doing, my friend?
I don't know, dude. I feel like that I'm the mailman in this one because you do pass me the ball a lot for some quality dunks.
I mean, listen, we all take the pick and roll style. That's also, true. Big shout to our good friends at Valor, as you see over the top left shoulder of mine, VALOR, or the website at itsvalor.us for all your needs for marketing as well as commercials. Or if you try gifts. I know I've been killing it. Gifts as well as everything marketing wise. So if you are watching the show on any type of social media platform, by all means, if you have a comment for me and Kyle, or if you want to pick on the Falcons again, because guess what? Whoever has it in the chat site can get it again, like I did Monday. Leave it on the screen. Me and Kyle will go ahead and post it on there. So,
hey,
listen,
Danny, really quick, I came up with the perfect way to get you to remember GIF, all right? It'd be kind of like if I was Shannon Sharp saying it to you on Undisputed. GIF! GIF!
Listen, you know what? Speaking of gifts, big shout out to our good friends at Mentality Barbershop at 2611 North Pine Hills Road over in Orlando, Florida. My main man, Corey Lamar, Donald Owens, everybody, the entire crew over there. Because guess what? If you're trying to get a haircut and you're trying to look so fresh and so clean, go check them out. All right.
He's committed now. That's my bad, Danny Thompson. I should have known that.
Listen, speaking of gifts, we have the gift that keeps on giving.
Nice.
Guess what that is, Kyle? We're going to start off tonight with guess what?
Baseball?
Major League Baseball. Yes, we're starting with baseball. And the only reason why I'm talking about baseball, no, it's not because of the playoffs. Because guess what? It is what it is. The Mets aren't playing. The reason why I'm starting to show off for the second time this week, besides the fact that the Mets have a new owner, the Mets have a brand new general manager and a new president of baseball operations, and he's a familiar face to Mets fans. Sandy Alderson will now be taking over for the New York Mets, which means that Brady's time is going. I don't mean Tom Brady. Brady's time is going. The only thing the Mets need to do now is go get Theo. Bobby, can I get a hashtag go get Theo, please, for me? I'm sure. Exactly. I guess the Yankees fans not helping in the situation.
Why would he? His hashtag is be not my Epstein.
Well, the good news is that's the end of baseball talk for the night. All right. Yes, thank you. Go get Theo. Exactly. All right. So baseball's over. See you later. All right, Kyle. Let's get into the NBA because as we know, Thursdays is the night we spend the majority on the NFL because outside of the Thursday night game going on, you have so much action in the NFL. We want to be able to have enough time to talk about it. So, without leaving the NBA behind, Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals between the Denver Nuggets and the LA Lakers are taking on right now on TNT. So, yes, I understand you're watching the game because no one's really watching Thursday night football, not even Jaguars or Dolphins fans.
Hey, listen, they're up 14-0. Some of the bandwagoners might have jumped aboard, bro.
Kyle, Dolphins and Jaguars don't have bandwagons.
Oh, but they do.
No, they don't.
When they're ahead, a Dolphins fan will watch the game and then they'll turn it off. Oh, see, the Jags are catching up. Never mind.
Kyle, you can't have a bandwagon when there's still room on the original bus.
I mean, listen. The reason why I say bandwagon is true fans are still stuck somewhere about 50 years ago. That's all I'm saying.
No, we're not doing it. All right, but Game 4 going on, LA and Denver going on right now. If you're watching the game, I understand it. Put it on mute. Listen to me and Kyle. Trust me, the game doesn't get good until after we go off there anyway. Lakers have a chance to pretty much put a stranglehold in this series, but I forgot, Kyle. If you try to put the Denver Nuggets in the corner, it looks like in the playoffs it doesn't work. So, Kyle, the Nuggets have been down 3-1 in every game in the series. If you're the Lakers to play a psychological game, shouldn't you just tank tonight and make it best 2 out of 3?
Hey, listen, it could be argued they did their best when AD hit that big shot at the end of the one game, right? I'm just throwing that out there.
I mean, listen, all I'm saying is if you have the ability to at least, make it a series, don't let them go down 3-0. Do it 3-1. Because the last 2 times they went down 3-1, guess what happened? The Nuggets and them win the series. Jamal Murray was phenomenal, and I'm gonna be honest with you, Lakers fans. You're blasting. If LeBron James had 4 rebounds in the game, the internet would die. It would explode due to craziness. Yeah. Anthony Davis will not, and I repeat, will not grab 4 rebounds tonight. He might grab 4 rebounds before their first television timeout. It won't happen again. Also, Lamb change, Kyle, tonight. JaVale McGee is out of the starting lineup, and Dwight Howard's in the starting lineup. So, Kyle, here's the question. Because you now graduated to the next level of basketball, your basketball knowledge, is it a smart move to bring Dwight Howard in the starting lineup instead of keeping him off the bench for energy reasons? Do you agree with that move?
Here's what it is from what I understand, the Lakers already had issues guarding the perimeter, and I don't think Dwight Howard does anything to repair that at all. As a matter of fact, I could argue it makes it worse. But that whole perimeter analysis I had has been shot in the rear lately because they're still finding ways to get points on the board and relatively keep cats from doing it. So, listen, regardless of my personal feelings about Dwight Howard, I'm not going to say it's a no to it. I don't know that I would have been wise enough to do it, but hey, who knows? Maybe this is them tanking like you're recommending.
Listen, it's real simple. The Nuggets have gone down 3-1 twice in the playoffs, and they've won literally the next 3 games after that. They're 6-0 when down 3-0. Hey, why don't you make it an even series? That way you can clear them out in 6. Boom. Other series going on in the Eastern and the NBA is the Miami Heat have now taken a stranglehold over the Boston Celtics. It's 3-1.
How good a story is the Heat, bro? Like, did any of us see that happening? I'll be honest. You could call me next level and graduating from my novice status all you want. I know pros that would not have picked the Heat coming. And I like this. I like what they're doing, man. It's a fun thing to watch. And that's no offense to the Celtics. They're part of the reason why it's fun to watch because they're a good team. They're making it a fun series.
And to be honest with you, the Boston Celtics shot themselves in the foot throughout the series.
True.
Here's the problem, Kyle. It's normally basketball is a fundamental team sport. The Celtics on paper, nothing against the Heat. The Celtics have more talent on paper with their better players. You're looking at guys like Jason Tatum, Kemba Walker, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Gordon Hayward's now healthy. Yeah. You look at those 5. That should be able to carry you in a series. Daniel Tice has been playing when he's not in foul trouble, is playing solid. With Brad Stevens as head coach, you should be up in the series. Here's the problem. Eric Spoelstra has let the Heat turn into a complete unit, and let's be honest, Jimmy Butler has made more with doing less than any player I've seen in the last 10 years in the playoffs.
Hey, listen, I got shouted down when I tried to say that Spoelstra is probably the most underrated coach in the NBA. I'm not going to mention who it was, but let's just say it involved a group involving the conversion of more than 2 points, if you catch my meaning. Yes, I believe it was our good writing pen that came after me telling me, Spoelstra's not that great. At least they didn't tell me to, exactly. At least they didn't tell me to shut up and play football. But, man, what Spoelstra is capable of is an amazing thing. Granted, I'll give credit to Pat Riley in the front office in Miami, but he only buys the groceries. Spoelstra is the one's going to try to make these cats cook. And the various personalities he's had without having his team be a complete ruin after the departure of LeBron is an amazing thing.
Exactly. And so if you're actually watching the video live, once again, if you want to comment and give me a shout out, if you're on Facebook, click on the actual video and then that way and post your comment there. That way we can see you guys and ladies as we're talking about the games tonight on the show for the next hour and a half. So listen, here's the reason why I say that Miami's winning this. Here's the reason why Miami's winning the series. They're out team basketballing the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
Let's go back last night. Anytime you have a star player or a superstar player in the team, Kyle, normally they do everything they can to win a game by themselves. Jimmy Butler is on that star superstar stats type level, depending on who you ask. He, in the last couple of games when Goran Dragic has gotten hot, and then last night when Tyler Hero couldn't miss, was letting those guys do all the damage. And what did Jimmy Butler do? Decided to take out Jason Tatum the entire game. That's what you call the evolution of Jimmy Butler. He's evolving into that guy. He doesn't have to be a 25-point a game scorer no more. He can affect the game in so many other ways, whether it's playmaking, whether it's rebounding, whether it's defense. He'll still get buckets when he needs to. He's also the defensive leader. He's also the heart and soul of this team. Tyler Hero said it best after this game last night. He said, I want to do this for Jimmy. He is my big brother. I want him to get to the finals. That team has bought into Jimmy Butler. Bam Adebayo has become a star in this league. Mm-hmm. Gordon Dragic is becoming to the point now where Miami's going to have to keep him. Kendrick Nunn, who was second in Rookie of the Year voting, hasn't even done much. They have turned Andre Iguodala, who didn't play all season, into something. Jay Crowder's doing something. Kelly Olynyk, Duncan Robinson. You can go on and on here with the guys on this team, and guess what? They're all contributing. Everybody plays a role. And Kyle, you know me, I'll go on a limb here. The Los Angeles Lakers want no part of the Miami Heat in the finals. I'm going to tell you that right now.
That's not a limb. Listen, any sport you want to avoid the hot team, but listen,
it's
ironically, the Heat are the hot team here.
2 points. And the reason why I say it's not because of the hot team, Kyle, is because Jimmy Butler loves a challenge. There's nothing better. And Jimmy Butler's, for what you might say about Jimmy Butler and what you might think about him, his personality, or you go back to what he did in Chicago or the Minnesota fiasco or even in Philadelphia. Jimmy might have an ego. Jimmy might be Hollywood. But the one thing Jimmy Butler doesn't do is Jimmy Butler doesn't back down from a challenge.
Correct.
Jimmy Butler is one of the few players in this league that will embrace a challenge. Remember, this guy was a second-round pick. He was not even recruited in high school like that. He went to played junior college and went to Marquette. He had no real offers out of high school. Everything he's ever done has been built upon what he did, what he's learned from veterans, from players he's played with. If you go back, I think it was Chris Haynes had a thing with Jimmy Butler about a year and a half ago when he talked about his rookie season, Kyle, and why he's the player he is. He said because he saw Derrick Rose and Joakim Noah cuss each other out in practice on a regular basis. Like the two leaders of the team would cuss each other out on a regular basis. It was the veterans that did that. And it instilled in him, I can't make no mistakes. It was all a brotherhood, but everybody held each other accountable. And that's how Jimmy said his leadership style was become, because he watched those guys come in the league and held him accountable for day one, made him a better player, made him do the different things and work on those things, because you didn't want to get yelled at in front of your teammates. No, you didn't want that. They took responsibility, and that's what Jimmy demands. The difference is between Philadelphia, Minnesota, and this unit is those Heat players got behind Jimmy Butler, and they're now letting Eric Spoelstra lead the way, and Butler is the team, is the guy. There's a reason why he's a captain. And Mike Patton is right. You think the Lakers want the Heat? No, they don't. LeBron James, no, because here's the thing. Bam Adebayo can guard Anthony Davis. No, Jimmy Butler will. Here's the thing. There's a difference between playing a guy in the regular season and playing a guy in the finals. Jimmy Butler, last time he saw LeBron James in the playoffs, was a young kid with the Bulls. Jimmy's a grown man right now. AD's no, he doesn't. He wasn't hungry for rebounds in game 3.
Oh, he didn't do much eating, is what he said. Anyway,
listen, the only thing he ate was air with his hands the ball going through his hands.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say Rodney's wrong. I know that AD desires a championship, but the fact that he got here in mercenary fashion, whereas Miami was kind of a second or third chance of, after Jimmy Butler's being declared a bad teammate and this, that, and the other thing. I think this is more of a comeback story for Jimmy. I mean, this is a more, started at the bottom, now he's here kind of situation. AD has always been a dude with a spoon, so to speak, talent-wise.
Well, Kyle, the thing is, though, when I say it's going to be a problem for AD, it's because Adebayo is actually long. Adebayo can guard multiple positions. This isn't a series like Denver where –
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong there. I'm talking about from a mentality standpoint. You're so right.
I don't think Anthony was spoon-fed. He was in New Orleans long enough. That man had to get out of prison somehow. New Orleans wasn't winning. The only chance New Orleans ever had a chance to win went down the drain when DeMarcus Cousins tore his Achilles. Yeah. The second Cousins tore his Achilles, AD had no chance of winning at that point. But what I'm saying is he wasn't spoon-fed to LA. Listen, LeBron sent the life raft after him. If Miami closes this thing out, they'll have a few days for Bam We haven't heard any word, or I haven't heard any word about him missing tomorrow's game for Game 5. The Heat need to close this series out because if it is something, like that, you're going to need as many days off as possible. Yeah. Because if you got to think, if Denver wins tonight, they got to play 2 more games regardless. That's the thing. You're automatically going to have to play on Saturday and again on Monday or Tuesday, depending on if the NBA wants to go against Monday Night Football again. All right, you still got to worry about that aspect as well too. Close it out tomorrow, Miami. Otherwise, listen, you don't want Boston to give any type of life in any type of series. When you got your foot in their neck, do what they did against Milwaukee and get rid of them. Speaking of people getting rid of, guess what? The Bulls have a new coach. They kicked Jim Boylan out the door and added Billy Donovan. And a very interesting hiring. The Bulls hired head coach Billy Donovan, the former Oklahoma City Thunder head coach, to a 4-year, $24 million deal. Well, Kyle, it's interesting. Billy Donovan left Oklahoma City because he did not want to be part of the rebuild, and understandable. The Bulls are a rebuilding project, I guess. So, if you're a Bulls fan, this is something you guys have to think about. Donovan wanted no part of a rebuild. The Bulls front office with Michael Reinsdorf is opening up the checkbook. All I'm saying is expect the Bulls to be a major player in free agency in 2021. And I'm really being 100% serious. The Bulls have the 3rd biggest market in the country, Chicago. They'll have the cap space. If Donovan, Donovan has never missed the playoffs, Kyle. He's never missed the playoffs as a head coach. He's 5 for 5. His teams win games. He knows how, and the thing is, he knows how to deal with young talent because he coached at Florida. He won 2 national championships at Florida, was a consistent winner in the SEC, and then he took that young. To me, last year was his best team. He's coached with last year Oklahoma City. I know they had Chris Paul, but they had 7 guys in their rotation, Kyle, that were under 26 years old. Mm-hmm. He won with young guys. He knows how to win with youth. The Bulls have talent. Zach LaVine is Devin Booker East. Hey, it is what it is. LaVine is super talented. All right. He just hasn't had a chance to be on that level yet. I think Kobe White will turn into Donovan's version of Dennis Schroeder. I think the Bulls go get a point guard and they go get a small forward. In whatever order it is, they'll get a point guard and a small forward and watch the Bulls turn into something. As long as he'll find a way to use Lauri Markkanen, and as long as Wendell Carter Jr. is healthy, Kyle, I hate to say this. The Bulls are going to get – I hate to say this because the Orlando Magic was the 8th seed last year in the playoffs. Right. With no Jonathan Isaac and a whole bunch of questions in Orlando, I'll be honest with you, the Bulls might be the 8th best team in the Eastern Conference between them and Atlanta.
Or better, right? I mean, they could even surpass Indiana theoretically if they keep having injury woes year in and year out, So
2 All-Stars are better than 1, so I'm not sure about that one. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah. If basically, hey, listen, this is NFL mentality applied to basketball here. You can't help the club in the tub, and if you're on the floor, you can't be on the floor. Okay, all right, that didn't work as good as club in the tub, but you get the idea. But hey, listen, I'll say this, man, and call it my NBA rookiness as an analyst if you want, but I'm hard pressed to bet against Billy Donovan just at this juncture. That's all I can say.
Listen, Billy D knows how to win. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean it's not Colt 45 wins. He might get a Colt 45 number of wins in 45 next season. That's all I'm saying.
DJ Khaled stuff. All right, that's all I'm trying to tell you.
Listen, I think the Bulls could win 45 games next year as long as they're healthy, and then they take care of the offseason. And then guess what? Nobody's in the contract long term. They have the clear runway. If you have Zach LaVine, Kobe White, a number 1 draft pick this year, you let Lauri Markkanen go out the door. He's a power forward. Enter Anthony Davis. The Lakers win the championship. I don't know if Anthony Davis would want to stay with a potential rebuild in Los Angeles with nothing in the cupboard.
Well, whether they win or not, I don't know that he'll want to stay there.
No, I think you'll want to stay because you want to win that championship in LA because it puts you to a whole new stratosphere. But if you win that championship, knowing LeBron James might not finish his career there, supposedly, you never know. But LeBron's diminishing in age. Not saying the skill set's diminishing, but he's getting up there, getting longer in the tooth. Yep. He's 35. He ain't spring chicken no more. And if LeBron leaves, everybody knows the team that he leaves for turns disastrous.
At least for a season or two,
I mean, he took Miami a couple of years. I mean, you got to think after LeBron left, then Wade. Bosh did everything he could, but we'll never know because of Bosh's heart injury. Yeah. Speaking of hearts, if you're a fan of UCF football, your heart must be warm this week because UCF takes on the East Carolina Pirates. And Kyle, it's time for class session, sir. In this week's Student of the Game session, Kyle, break down. Before we get into college football, I want you to break down UCF and ECU and what to expect, and then we'll jump into college football. Class is essential, my friend.
The biggest problem that ECU has is they're really just entirely too small on their offensive line. Listen, Holden Athers is a quarterback they've faced twice before and always gets under their skin a little bit, steals some yardages and points that you don't expect, right? I mean, maybe then in the past they've still, covered the spread or whatever, but he's still done some things where you look at that film and go to the UCF defense, what were you thinking? By the way, in general, UCF has problems with mobile quarterbacks, and I'm not here to say that Holden Athers is in fact like Jeff Sims of Georgia Tech last week, where he was basically a track runner with some good throwing talent. No, but he's mobile enough to be problematic if you leave the middle of that field open. Now, am I here to tell you that this is a guy that could compete if he were a quarterback for an SEC team? No, but I am telling you he's a guy who's going to steal a couple points. Perhaps UCF still covers the spread, but if they don't, Holden Athers will be the reason why. By the way, Josh Heupel still not really committal on any of the injuries involving Greg McCray or Trey Nixon. He says he said in today's press conference still that they're going day-to-day on both guys, but there's enough depth there that I'll need my scuba certification to list off all the guys that'll still hit the field productively in East Carolina.
Check out Kyle's articles all throughout this week on the 3pointconversion.com. He also wrote a great article this was it 2 days or a day or two ago about this UCF game and how yesterday, and how if you're a UCF fan that don't overlook ECU. Like Kyle just mentioned, don't overlook them. Didn't say it was going to be.
But I'm not going to say it's a trap game either. Like, honestly, the main thing that'll keep UCF's head above water, it started out as being an ESPN Plus game, and thanks to COVID canceling a Notre Dame game, now it's on ABC. UCF back-to-back national coverage has not happened in the regular season for UCF in the school's history.
Speaking of welcoming, everybody, let's welcome the SEC.
Hi, guys.
All right, the SEC kicks off their season this weekend because guess what? They always got to be late for the party because guess what? Everybody wants to watch the SEC. And guess what? SEC football kicks off Saturday. Tennessee and South Carolina will get going. And I call it the game of whoever wins actually might be 500 this year. Whoever loses, you're fighting with Vanderbilt at this point. Why I say that? Tennessee and South Carolina are basically, I'm going to say, Kyle, is between the fourth and the sixth worst team in their own division. All right?
maybe, but
listen, the winner of this game will actually have a head start on getting their head cracked in by Georgia and Florida, depending on when they play them later on the season. At least you have some hope going into those games. South Carolina is now down 2 starting wide receivers, and Tennessee, you never know because of COVID.
Right.
All I know is Williams-Brice Stadium will be loud because of crowd noise being pumped in. Speaking of Bobby's Notre Dame Fighting Irish, they won't be fighting this weekend. Why? COVID-19 has canceled their game this weekend against Wake Forest.
Hey, we'd rather watch UCF on ABC than that waste of time anyway. Right, Bobby?
Listen. You're signaling. You already know what's coming, don't you? I already know what's coming. Bobby, go ahead and cue it up now. Don't do it, Bobby. I already know what's coming.
I do too, but hey, it was my high school fight song as well. We totally stole it.
All right, so listen, I gave Bobby. See, I knew it was coming. I gave him too much. I gave him too much for it. Other games going on.
Right now, it's here. Wait, what? Anyways.
All right. Well, listen. Notre Dame hadn't played anybody. They're playing the ACC for crying out loud.
Word. Oh, and South Florida. But then you repeat yourself. Moving on.
Rinse, lather, repeat. Wait till we let them play North Carolina and Clemson, and we can have this conversation after those games if we actually get those games. Listen, don't you sleep on
Basura. Well said, Rodney. He's going multicultural with how bad Notre Dame is. I mean, what? The ACC is.
Rodney, we're not talking about the Panthers defense for crying out loud. All right.
Oh, Lord. He finally says the right thing and you dunk on him. He's like, nah, son. Nah.
Hey, Steph Curry's from Charlotte. Why not? All right. Other games going on college football this week. Other games going on college football this weekend, Kyle. We have a ranked matchup in the SEC. Back to the SEC again. You have Kentucky taking on Auburn. 23rd ranked Kentucky going down to Auburn. Kyle, do you see an upset for Kentucky this weekend?
I mean, even if they win at this point, could you honestly call an upset? I mean, yeah, technically Auburn's higher rated, but listen, I'm going to say something that's going to get probably a lot of UCF fans ticked off. This is a year where the SEC is more credible than they ever have been before. They are forced to play themselves a lot as the top conference in college football. Accept it as fact. The SEC is supreme, okay? So with them having to play themselves, they're going to try to squeeze in a 10-game conference, basically a 10-game conference series for their season. It's going to be a situation where you're probably going to end up having a little wiggle room. So, yeah, can Kentucky compete? They're going to make it close. I'm not prepared to say if Auburn wins, but if Kentucky pulls the upset and continues to roll, Auburn may not be hurt so bad in the polls, Danny Thompson. That's what I'd have. If Auburn loses on Saturday, they're going to become Kentucky fans throughout the season to preserve or enact damage control on their poll placement.
Listen, you're right. I mean, you've been on that tank for 2 years now. As I was saying, other games going on in the SEC. Alabama opens up against Missouri.
Next.
Vanderbilt and Texas A&M.
I mean, listen, never mind.
Yeah. Florida going down to Mississippi.
That's not a gimme.
No, Mississippi's a good fight. Mississippi might put a good fight in this one. Georgia and Arkansas.
I mean, listen, if Georgia, Georgia, you got to feel for Georgia. They regularly get ranked so high and constantly they're that kid left out. If they don't beat Arkansas, we got bigger fish to fry than them Bulldogs.
All right, Mississippi State and LSU. Is this really a football game here?
I mean, listen.
Mississippi State's going. They're going to LSU. I don't know.
Not every single SEC team is good. I'm just saying.
All right, so the American Conference has the top 25 matchup with Army and Cincinnati, which is on ESPN at 3:30 in the afternoon. This is telling you about college football. Mm-hmm. Kyle, what do you think about this one?
Listen, this will be a great test and opportunity to see Cincinnati. They're ranked in the top 25 here behind UCF. This is the team that's going to give UCF the most problems in the American and representing the East in the American Conference Championship. They always listen. If you like black and blue football, Danny Thompson, you watch this game. Some dudes are going to be thumping here, and it's not a lock for either team. I got to tell you, Danny, Cincinnati can lose this game very credibly against a very solid Army squad.
Speaking of solid squads, before we kick to the NFL, let's give a big shout out to Deion Sanders. Yes, prime time is headed down to Jackson State. Deion Sanders, Pro Football Hall of Famer, one of the greatest cornerbacks of all the time, probably one of the fastest players in the history of the NFL, is now the new head coach at Jackson State. Okay, I'm not talking about what staff he's bringing in because Coach Prime, which he'll now be referred to, Kyle, going forward as Coach Prime. Listen, you asked for it, you get it.
Never asked for that.
He asked for it. And any man that comes in your head coaching press conference in a big SUV, stepping out the vehicle like King Joffrey Joffer in the middle of Coming to America, without the lion and the lion skin robe, as well as the flower bearers, you get my vote any day of the week.
Look here. The only reason why he didn't have the full dance number and bongos going is because of COVID-19. Okay, let's be clear.
Listen, let's be honest. If this wasn't COVID-19, this would have been Must Be the Money 2020. That's all I'm saying. Who wants to who can do it better than Deion Sanders? But the one thing is good to see is that I really want to see on top of the staff, he said, Kyle, which is real interesting. The reports that came out said guys like Terrell Owens and Warren Sapp, among other players, are going to be on his staff. He shot the reports down. Everybody else shot it down. So I'm just saying, if he said he'll announce his coaching staff next month because some of the staff is still on obligations with other places and technically just want to make sure those things run out. One thing he did say, Kyle, was very interesting was his staff will have 84 years combined of coaching and NFL experience. So Deion's not going into this thing without knowing what he's doing. Mm-hmm. 84 years of experience is an awful lot. On top, On top of that, he already has recruits transferring to him. And the real question is, Kyle, he was an outstanding offensive coordinator in high school. I think his team was like 40. Really? I can't with Rodney.
Doesn't make any sense. What are you even getting? What?
Bobby, repost that again. Kyle, read what he said.
I read it. I don't. Constance named Thompson. What?
He's throwing shade.
Patty Duke show. Of course,
he's throwing shade.
You know what, Rodney? If you listen, you better come with better trolling game than that. That was a bad troll.
Listen,
bad troll. Go in the corner.
Listen, all I'm saying.
What?
Listen.
What?
Listen, I'm giving the Robbie Anderson face right now. All right, I'm giving the Robbie Anderson face when it came to Sir Purr. Sir Purr. Y'all really call him Sir Purr? Exactly. But what Jackson State's going to do is, I think with Deion going to Jackson State College, it's going to raise a lot of the talent level going to the HBCUs, because what's going to happen is once you start getting some HBCUs winning, it's going to lead to other coaches doing the same thing and other talents to go in there. Because guess what? People are going to watch Jackson State. The SWAC is playing in the spring. Kyle, I have a very, very good idea that we'll see Jackson State almost every single Saturday or Sunday when we get spring football every single week. Recruits are going to see it. They're going to start building facilities. And that means every other HBCU is going to do the same thing to start acquiring people that are going to get people to come there. 84 years of college, 84 years of NFL coaching and experience. If I'm a parent of a student that's going to be playing college football, listen, it don't get no better than that. And the real question is, who is his starting quarterback going to be, Kyle? His son is a 4-star recruit that already committed to FAU in Lane Kiffin. I got a feeling somebody's backing out that commitment.
Hardly can he be blamed. I mean, listen, if he wants to play for his dad, that's fine. But I think that invites a whole other set of issues. Listen, I am not against Deion Sanders taking the role as Coach Prime, but there's a number of things that I think need to be pointed out here. Winning the press conference does not win you the day, okay? Anybody who's expecting week 1 for Jackson to come out and do the thing, or Jackson State, excuse me, coming out and do the thing like they're suddenly just given the mandate of heaven, it doesn't exactly work like that. And you're talking about building facilities and this, that. Listen, friends, there's something that I'm talking about right here because I've seen it with UCF. What it takes to get facilities built, does a school of that size have those kind of boosters to do that thing? And I get that he's getting commitments. Heck, I saw something where there was a kid from Mississippi State the next day, or transferred. That's all a great story. I am not going to say that Coach Prime will not win the press conference, but it don't mean a thing. He better be ready to build a program and take at least half a decade to do it. Now, will he come out there and maybe have early success? Maybe even have a winning season his first year? Sure. But after that point, you can't just go in and think it's bibbity-bobbity-boo. At some point, the clock strikes midnight. What's you going to do then? Hopefully, you're smart enough to keep that glass slipper in your pocket when the rest of the team start to catch up.
The only thing I have with Deion Sanders is that he's still keeping his job at Barstool. I worry about that because college football coaches, Kyle, you've played college football, you've been around this. Those coaches, they recruit 24/7. They're working year round. You can't really be a Barstool analyst and do the things you do off the field, working for NFL Network, doing all these things, and expect to run, like you said, a top-notch program. Yeah, you might be able to win, but you have to sustain winning. Winning is the most important thing you have. Will Jackson State build facilities? I'll be honest with you, Kyle. Something tells me the SWAC is going to end up with a television contract because people are going to want to see Deion Sanders on a conference regular basis. He's going to generate revenue. The games Jackson State plays are going, once we get fans be able to get to go, you're not going to find a Jackson State ticket anywhere. Kyle, they're going to get recruits. But like you said, if Coach Prime is 100% focused on this and trying, because he said it's a dream of his to coach college football, as long as he stays in that mindset, listen, sky's the limit. But if he doesn't give it his all, it will crash and burn.
Absolutely. The question I have is this, Danny Thompson: is it his dream or just something he wants to mark off the bucket list? If it's the latter, a lot of people are going to get hurt here.
But if it's the first part,
Ooh, I want to see it too.
if this is the first part, Kyle, I'm not gonna lie. This might change. This might be something that can change college football going forward. Mm-hmm. It's going to start opening a lot of doors for a lot of, not just Jackson State, not just for the SWAC conference, but we're talking about for historic HBCUs, historical black college universities all across the country. Because we've already saw one of the top high school basketball prospects, Don Maker's brother, Maker. He's now going to Howard. He was one of the top 25 recruits in college basketball, the highest rated recruit to ever go to Howard. Okay, so we're starting to see a change and shift in the paradigm. Now Deion Sanders is there. If they start winning and you start seeing national TV games, it's got to be hard living in Mississippi. Listen, I mean, it's hard to live anywhere nowadays. Except if you're Deion Sanders, I'm sure you're going to find a nice place to live anyway.
Well, that's a good point. And I'll say, all the trepidation I bring here, let's not be stupid. If he ends up with 12 on the schedule, I might just have to take a trip to Tallahassee.
Listen, Jackson State is going to start getting requests to start playing games all across the country. I guarantee you, all the historically black colleges and classics that will be around there, I wouldn't be surprised to be playing in Atlanta at Mercedes. You're right. If they get down to Orlando, that game is getting shifted. Can you imagine how many games will be shifted to different locations and how much money this thing is going to bring in? I can only imagine how much income Jackson State's going to make off the football program, and not only just help football, it's going to help that entire university. Mm-hmm. It is the thing that can transitionally change an entire university. Speaking of transitionally changing, we're going to transitionally change into the NFL, Kyle.
All right.
The good news is we're not talking about week 3 no more. So everything that happened in week 3 will stay in week 3.
You hope.
Where's
quality trolling, Rodney? Where the hell are you?
Because the Jacksonville Jaguars and Miami Dolphins are playing right now. The Jaguars is third and 4 from the 18-yard line, 21-7. Dolphins going into halftime in that game. But Kyle, let's look into week 3, and we'll start with the game that everybody is waiting for. Kyle, next Monday night on Monday Night Football, you have the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens on Monday night. We're going to start here first.
They would have that game while we got a show, damn it. No, listen, man. Obviously.
Listen. The tag team of Mahomes and Jackson is not as good as the tag team of Nash and Thompson. That's all I'm saying. But continue, sir.
Excellent point by you, Danny Thompson. Well played. But what I'll say is this. There are many people who would argue that that's a preview of the AFC Conference Championship, right? So, mm-hmm. Maybe it's not a big deal for me to miss it because I'm planning to see it again in January anyway, right? But obviously, man, this is I think the best finesse versus strength matchup in the AFC without question. I know there's a lot of people that think Lamar Jackson is a repeat MVP waiting to happen when he really shouldn't have won the first one. Russell Carrington Wilson, I said it. But man, if you're asking me to pick who's going to win this game, this is a situation where heck, home field don't even matter all that much because of COVID, right? I mean, at day's end, it's all about who gets off to the lead first, right? If the Ravens start fast and they get off to a lead, the Ravens are going to win the contest. But if they end up behind it all, I really have my eyes on Kansas City winning the game. And with as fast as they are, I got Patrick Mahomes doing the business and shocking the world.
So you take Kansas City on Monday night?
I am, but not by a big margin.
Kyle, you make a good point about, playing from behind. If you're the Ravens, you got to jump ahead. The thing is, if you get ahead, you have to get ahead. You can't be up a touchdown in the fourth quarter against Pat Mahomes. If it's within 2 possessions in the fourth quarter, you don't count the Chiefs out at all. You don't. We have seen enough of Patrick Mahomes. We saw it again last week when they were down to LA in LA's home opener. Guess what? Mahomes got it together in the fourth quarter. And I think his pass rate was like 155 in the fourth quarter on Sunday. It was almost perfect. You don't want to play from behind. But the other part is, if you're Baltimore, you don't want to get off to a slow start either. Mm-hmm. One thing I do expect from Baltimore, if they get ahead, they're going to pound the ball down the throats. And if anybody can do it, it's the number 1 rushing attack from last season in the NFL. I just expect to see a lot of draws from Jackson. You'll see a lot more Mark Ingram than we've seen the first 2 weeks of the season. This is a Mark Ingram game. If they can get the ball down the field to Mark Andrews and Hollywood Brown and those receivers, Willie Snead, whoever they decide who can catch the ball, J.K. Dobbins, If they get ahead by 10 points in the third quarter, I expect Mark Ingram left, Mark Ingram right, Lamar Jackson up the middle, using J.K. Dobbins. I expect them to pound the ball down the Chiefs' throats the same way your 49ers pounded the ball down the Chiefs' throat for 3 quarters in the Super Bowl. That's how you beat the Chiefs. You control the ball, keep Mahomes off the field, and you take 9, 7, 8, 9, 10-minute drives. If anybody can do it in the NFL, and I'm saying both conferences, it's the Baltimore Ravens. Because no team in the league can run the ball like the Ravens can. Because no team in the league has Lamar Jackson at quarterback. They don't. But speed kills, Mahomes' arm kills, and something tells me there's going to be a big play, and it won't be from Tyreek Hill. I think Travis Kelce will get down the center of the field. Kai Evans-Hilaire is a completely different player than what they've ever had at running back. It's like having I think he might be the version of Jamal Charles, how explosive he is with the ball in his hands. You add that explosiveness in the backfield with all those receivers, and the offensive line looks a lot better than I thought it was the first 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
As long as the Chiefs can score a couple touchdowns and keep within striking distance, like you said, to your point, it's Baltimore. I can't say who's going to win. And I honestly, Kyle, home field does me a lot in this game. I do. I agree with you on that. I got the Chiefs, and I got the Chiefs by 10 points. 31-20.
Wow. I don't have it that big, but hey, I'm not going to argue with you either.
I mean, it's just kind of hard. This is so much. It's speed. Too much of it. Now, Kyle, we talked about there's only two games this week with undefeated teams. Now this is what we expected. Chiefs and Ravens in week 3, we expect to be undefeated. But if you were in Las Vegas, would you expect the LA Rams and the Buffalo Bills to be both 2-0 in week 2?
Buffalo, yes. Raiders, hell no.
No, Rams. Excuse me, Rams. The Rams and the Buffalo Bills.
Oh yeah, Rams, hell no. And frankly, listen, the Rams undefeated is artificial if I've ever seen it. They're just a few ticky-tack plays away from losing to the Cowboys, and a bunch of injured offensive linemen handed them the second one. I think. But I can't sit here and tell you that the Rams will be exposed by the Raiders. Listen, the Raiders.
No, we'll get to the Raiders, Kyle. But let's talk Rams and Bills. Let's stay on topic. Manny will get you off topic anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Anyways, no, but yeah, the Bills, I'll tell you what, if you want to test a team, you test them against that Bills defense. Yeah, sure, Aaron Donald, blah, blah, blah. We do it every week. Josh Allen has the mobility to escape. Somebody else is going to have to help him in that front seven. Not saying they can't do it, but if he does make a mistake, I scoff at Goff and his ability to battle the Bills. I think at the end of the day, the Bills will pull it out, but don't be surprised if you see some bruises on some players in that game.
Malcolm Brown's injury for the Rams is really key for me in this game. He's still banged up from last week. Darrell Henderson, those guys did a good job on the line on running the ball last week. But you remember, you just said the Buffalo defense is still one of the top 2 or 3, maybe top 5 defenses in the league. You're going to have to run the ball in this defense because if you're allowing the Bills to tee off on Jared Goff, oh boy,
I scoff at Goff.
Now, the real key is, can the Buffalo Bills stop Tyler Higbee, the tight end for the Rams? He's been scoring touchdowns left and right. I think he had 3 last week against, like you said, a beaten up Eagle defense. The question of this game is, Josh Allen can run, but do you need Josh Allen to run? The Bills are going to need to find a running game. Devin Singletary, Zach Morris, somebody's going to have to run the football for the Buffalo Bills, like you said, to make sure Josh Allen doesn't have to throw 45 times a game. It doesn't also have to run. I think if Allen throws right around 25 times, they'll beat the Rams.
Ooh, I don't think you'll see that. Give them some credit. You're right. If that happens, that is a victory for the Bills. But when I say Allen run, I mean like on bootlegs or something that's actually drawn up. Yeah,
but the thing is, the difference between the Rams secondary and their other secondary is that the Rams have Jalen Ramsey.
Okay.
That's the thing. Jalen Ramsey is going to be on Stephon Diggs most of the game. You're going to need John Brown. You're going to need the other receivers. The Bills are going to need other receivers to step up the game because as good as Stephon Diggs has been the first 2 weeks of the season, Jalen Ramsey is still one of the best corners in the NFL. You don't want to. You're going to get your shots at him. You're going to try Stephon Diggs because he's your number one guy.
Sure.
You're not going to target him all day either because you're playing with fire at Jalen Ramsey. is either Ramsey's going to have a really good game or you're going to burn Jalen Ramsey.
John
It's
Brown,
one of the two.
I'm giving that credit too. Listen, even if Stephon Diggs' main job is to keep Jalen Ramsey busy on the other side of the field, I'm going to boot away from him, and boom, I'm going to have a target, and it's going to work well. I feel like.
I got the Bills winning the game anyway. I'm just the Rams. They're the most unimpressive 2-0 team to me.
I agree, and it's the offense.
Sorry, EJ Christian. I can't rock with you on the Rams in this one.
Yeah, and
all right.
EJ Christian's a basketball analyst. He don't know nothing about football anyway. I said it. Ever since Tom Brady left New England, he doesn't know what to do with himself.
Speaking of Tom Brady leaving himself, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I was going to transition to the Rams. We'll go into the Buccaneers since you mentioned Brady. The Buccaneers they play a late game on Sunday. The 1-1 Buccaneers go to Denver to take on the 0-2 Denver Broncos. Well, Kyle, Jeff Driscoll starting for the Broncos. Do we really talk about this game at this point?
We do not.
Chris, all you need to know is Chris Godwin's healthy. He's been cleared to play. This is the first time Brady's had everybody healthy. Mike Evans is healthy. Everybody's healthy. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say.
The only thing you'd say is this is the best defense that Brady has faced yet, and they're without their main guy. Let's move on.
So I'm assuming we're both taking the Bucs this game.
We are, sir.
All right, back to Las Vegas. The Las Vegas 2-0 Raiders. The Raiders have not Raidered just yet. Monday night they came out and they punched this New Orleans Saints in the mouth after the first quarter. Darren Waller was phenomenal, leads the NFL in catches and 18 catches in 2 games. The Las Vegas Raiders are 2-0. Now they get to go back to the spot of the Tuck Bowl game and take on the angry Cam Newton and the New England Patriots. Kyle, what you got in this one?
It's a lot different when you're playing a team that has 10 penalties and over 100 yards handing you a Monday Night Football game, okay? Cam damn near beat the best quarterback in the NFC, and we all love to see it, okay? It was a great, fantastic game. I don't know that the Raiders defense is prepared for the black and blue bashing. There's a lot of hard-nosed football games this weekend, by the way, Danny Thompson. And by the way, the only reason why I wouldn't full-on call the Raiders battling them a full-on black and blue game is that defensive line is soft compared to the offense that the Patriots got. If the Raiders can stop it, I'm more than happy to give them props, but I don't know. I listen, and by the way, a career game in yardage for Julian Edelman from Cam Newton. I got to learn this man's middle name.
He dropped about 170 receiving yards against the Seahawks defense. So, Kyle, who you got? Raiders or Patriots?
You know better. I got the Pats.
Listen, I said at the beginning of this is Cam Newton's revenge tour. It's going to be revenge. The Raiders have issues at wide receiver. We saw Henry Ruggs go down again. And listen,
that's a good point, man.
I mean, the Raiders normally have penalties, and this one's going to be a foul. Because here's the thing, the Raiders are using different receivers as number ones. And no, man, the Raiders will not be 3-0 on Sunday because here's the thing, Stephon Gilmore will not allow a touchdown pass. Remember, that touchdown pass because DK Metcalf was the first touchdown pass since 2018 that he's allowed. That thing was over like 20 yards, I want to say it was. The Raiders, even with Henry Ruggs not being 100%, is not going to do that down the field.
Terrell Newton will dominate you.
Exactly. They watched the blueprint on how to beat them. Carolina was kind of the similar way with a mobile quarterback. The difference is Cam Newton is not some mobile quarterback. Cam Newton's 100% healthy. Give me the Patriots. Julian Edelman had a big game, and I'm going to say this. I'm going to call this the Sony Michel game. Even though the Raiders have a good run defense, and good linebackers, this is the Sony Michel game. He hasn't done much in the first 2 weeks. I think this is the game he breaks out.
Interesting.
I'll take the Pats in this one. Speaking of games that are breaking out on Sunday, this game should have people breaking out in hives because you have the 0-2 Cincinnati Bengals taking on the 0-2 Philadelphia Eagles in the Ultra Bowl. All right. 2 teams with 2 different reasons why they're 0-2. The Bengals, we all know why they're 0-2 because it's the Bengals. Eagles
I take much umbrage with that, okay? Joe Burrow is doing his damnedest, looking good, throwing the ball 61 times this time last week, and losing to a team by only 3 points, with self-imposed gunshot wounds to the metatarsals, with Joe Burrow having probably one of the better rookie debuts with still one of the lowest point totals you can imagine, and they were a botched kick away from battling a team that took the defending Super Bowl champions to overtime. Sir, you need to put some respect on that name when it comes to Joe Burrow, my friend. No, I don't want his middle name yet, but don't be surprised with the Eagles being as messy as they are that the Bengals win the day here.
Kyle, you just mentioned the Bengals are going to bingle. They botched the end of the game. The kicker got hurt and missed an extra point to send the game to overtime.
He's hurt. He's not a factor anymore.
The Bengals are going to bingle. That's what it is. That's my new saying. The Bengals are going to bingle. The other part is in week 2, Kyle, yes, for as great of an effort that Joe Burrow did, he threw 61 times because they were down most of the game. They were down the entire game. You forgot that part. The game was even worse if they didn't call the pass interference call Odell Beckham, which would have been his second touchdown, which would help you in fantasy football, by the way. The Philadelphia Eagles come to town are bruised and beaten up as always. Jalen Reagor is now out for the Eagles at wide receiver, adding to the injury concerns they've already had. They're still down offensive linemen. Now they're down receivers. And guess what? Carson Wentz is under fire right now because Doug Peterson can't explain why his quarterback has regressed. He's under 500 since the quote-unquote MVP season.
You need to stop that. You just sound like a basketball analyst with that silliness. I'm just saying.
I'm sorry, Kyle. He's under 500. It is what it is. You can call it what I want to, but if you can't win football games, you can't win football games. Excuses or not.
Hey, they made it to the playoffs, and then they were all the way to win until he hurt himself again. Listen, if you want to go out and win, and you stick to the injury prone, that's all I'm saying.
Listen, the way the offensive line's playing right now, Wentz might not make it out of this week.
He's literally just I'm looking for.
The one thing the Eagles do have in their favor is that their defense is pretty semi-healthy going against a rookie quarterback. The one thing, when Joe Burrow was pressured against the Cincinnati, against the LA Chargers in Week 1, when Melvin Ingram and Joey Bosa were getting to him, he made mistakes. Okay, the shuffle pass interception right to the hands of Melvin Ingram was because of pressure. Burrow doesn't do well against pressure. We saw when Myles Garrett pressured him last week. He makes mistakes. He's a rookie. The one thing the Eagles do have, the Eagles have a very good front 7 when they're completely healthy. I'm sorry, front 4, not front 7. Linebackers are trash. Eagles should win this game. And here's the thing. You're going to need Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert to catch 10 combined, I'd say 13 to 14 passes. And you're going to need 13 to 14 catches from those two guys. And I'm sorry, this is a game that Carson Wentz needs to let Doug Peterson needs to put the ball in the hands of Miles Sanders. That's the only way you're going to win this game. Speaking of the only way to win this game, Kyle, the San Francisco 49ers go right back to MetLife Stadium after last week's debacle of injuries to take on the New York Giants. Last week, the 49ers, who were considered one of the favorites to win the NFC, lost 2 completely huge members of their team, Solomon Thomas and Nick Bosa. No, yeah. Is it Nick? Yeah, Nick Bosa? Yeah, Nick Bosa's out for the entire season.
Joey's LA. So
you now lost one of your best offensive linemen and arguably your best defensive lineman, and now you go right back to the same state you played in. Jimmy Garoppolo still isn't healthy because he hurt himself last week, and Raheem Mostert, I don't think he's even playing Sunday.
No, he's not.
Now they're going to get – go ahead.
But the good news is Brandon Ayuk and your boy Mohamed Sanu, I believe, are scheduled to play. So at least Mullins will take the field and be able to at least have some targets. And listen, when he's had to do some mop-up duty in the past, he's done a pretty good job. Here's the reason why I don't think the Niners are necessarily going to blow this game. A, they do have depth. B, they ain't got Saquon, dog. It's all good.
Now, is George Kittle playing on Sunday? Or is he still questionable?
As of now, he is not. But they do still have Jordan Reed for the moment.
All right, so Jordan Reed. Yeah, about to say. Now, the one thing, if you are a Giants fan, the one thing you do see is that they did lose Saquon Barkley for the entire season. He's not coming back. That's one thing. But they did sign Devontae Freeman, who he's in good shape. Now, Freeman, if he actually does do something, could actually help out. Deion Lewis is a good pass catcher. Listen, it really doesn't matter. Phil Simms, Jeff Hostetler, Daniel Jones is going to be running for his life, regardless of who is back there. 49ers will win their second game in the city of New York, and we'll just hope that they can just get out of the city injury-free. I got the Niners by double digits. If you're playing fantasy football, this is the team you might want to pick as your defense this week. Speaking of teams and defense this week, Kyle, listen, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense has been really good the first 2 weeks of the season. And
you and I have loved that front since the preview of this season, and all they've done is make us look smart.
And then on top of that, they have a very, very good secondary. And here comes the Houston Texans to town. The Texans, who've been beaten by the Chiefs and the Ravens in the first 2 weeks. Now got to go to, I'm going to say not Pittsburgh, but Blitzburg on Sunday.
How bad is that schedule, right? I mean, come on.
I don't know, Deshaun. I mean, I know it's $150 million, Deshaun, but are you really sure you want to sign for this foolishness? Yeah. Now Pittsburgh comes attacking, and Will Fuller's now out.
Listen, they still got enough guys to make a difference, but at days in, they got Laramie Tunsil and nobody else on that offensive line. The biggest struggle that they had against the Chiefs, sure, Mahomes was Mahomes, but Chris Jones was dominating the guard the whole time, and the seas were parted for the Ravens to run all over them during that contest. Listen, man, if this game comes down to toughness, for me, I'm with you, Rodney. I'm going to do some more prayers for Watson. I see the Texans going 0-3, despite my dude, J.J. Watt, doing his best to stop Ben Roethlisberger.
I swear, every time I look at J.J. Watt and Deshaun Watson, I see that. I just remember the Instagram video where the guy is walking by and he sees his cat stuck inside the store. He's like, "I'm going to free you. Somehow I'm going to free you." I just wish they free J.J. Watt and Deshaun Watson, put him on winning franchises. No, Will Fuller is not Greg Oden because here's the difference. Greg Oden was supposed to be an all-time great. Will Fuller came from Notre Dame.
No, you're not supposed to be proud of that. He said Notre Dame stuck his prospect. What? You celebrate that? I'm confused, Bobby Blackjack. Anyways.
Speaking of Notre Dame prospects in the Houston game, watch out for Chase Claypool.
Seriously. That's a guy that's going to make some catches. Maybe this is a party for him to come out. Who knows?
Speaking of coming out parties, listen. When we talk about so far breakout teams so far, has anybody talked about how good the Tennessee Titans is breaking out the shells? Ryan Tannehill throwing touchdown passes left and right. This is not your 2019 Tennessee Titans where Ryan Tannehill throwing 4 touchdown passes in the game looking like Al Bundy. Now they're going against the Minnesota Vikings this weekend, and the Vikings. This is really a must win for the Vikings right now. They're 0-2. You go down 0-3 at this point in the season, the Vikings might want to be done, and you're looking around like, who's done it and what? Kirk Cousins was awful.
It was. Tell him, bro. Tell him, Rodney. Tell him. Got him. Anyways.
Okay. What I'm saying is, with the Titans, this is a must-win game for the Vikings. Kirk Cousins was awful last week. Rodney's now bad.
You know, by the way, the aviators in the picture really make that comment work. I'm going to let you know.
Amazing. The one thing the Vikings have to do is you can't go down 0-3 in the season, Kyle, because if they go down 0-3 in the season, they're done. Kirk Cousins has not been good. They really missed Stephon Diggs. The defense is nowhere near what it was. It's a whole bunch of problems. Does Kevin Stefanski in the offensive court, was he that important to that Vikings offense?
No, because the offense was.
I mean, they also lost our offense coordinator to Cleveland. Was he that big of an issue? And Kyle, what are your thoughts? Are the Titans 3-0 this week?
They are. Now, granted, let's not sit here and act like the Titans haven't left some questions, okay? They let some teams stick around that shouldn't stick around. You don't lose to Jacksonville by only 3. I don't care how good Uncle Rico's playing. And that game against the Broncos, excuse me, say all you will about the kicking game. At the end of the day, the Titans weren't doing Titans things as Titan fans would have you believe. No offense to my good friend Cortland. I just was not impressed. But I'm not surprised Tannehill's throwing touchdowns. I again repeat, as a member of the Dolphins Wire with Antoine Staley as my editor in 2018, I tried to tell people if Tannehill had protection, he'd be good. And this time last year, they still had, I done already forgot his name, Mariota. So, okay, of course it looks better. The starters still uninjured on the field. Shall we move from there, Danny Thompson? When it comes to Kirk Cousins, I've been trashing him for a while. Yeah, I say they go 0-3.
Listen, Derrick Henry didn't hit 100 yards last week. They were saving him for this game.
He hasn't hit 100 yards yet, and it's okay.
I thought he hit 100 week 1.
No, he had 84.
Same thing. The other thing is, remember, in week 1, the Broncos had every chance to win that game. If Jerry Jeudy doesn't drop that pass in the fourth quarter, Drew Lock and company would have walked away from that victory. Forget the kicking game. Jeudy dropped that pass. Speaking of drops, passes, the Atlanta Falcons and the Chicago Bears kick off at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on Sunday afternoon. All right. So this is the game, Kyle. I'm going to say this. All right. This is one of those games where after something happens that is embarrassing, you have to come to the forefront.
Yeah.
And no better to come to the forefront than having to go against Mitchell Trubisky and the Bears offense. Atlanta, who has struggled to tackle people since 1978, gets Mitchell Trubisky and the Chicago Bears on Sunday. Okay, why is this a good thing? Mitchell Trubisky's only played really 2 good quarters all season. Okay. If you look at the Bears 2-0 season, you know how I just mentioned earlier that the Rams are the most interesting 2-0 seed? The Bears might be worse than them, and here's the reason why. No offense to my main man, Raphael Haynes, Mr. Controversial 3-point conversion.
Yeah,
here's the thing.
Make sure you apologize to the boss, partner.
I'm not apologizing for this one. Big shout out also to my main man, Alex Fleming, and their show, the NFL Carousel. I was on there yesterday talking about Falcons and Bears. Big shout out to them. Their shows on Facebook as well, too. Also, my main man, Eric Wilson. Here's the thing. Mitchell Trubisky had a very good fourth quarter, and the Lions gave the game away. That's why they won week 1. Week 2, Saquon Barkley goes down on basically a non-contact tackle. And at that point, the Giants had no offense. So guess what? Now you're going against, in week 1, you had the Lions offense who didn't have Kenny Golladay in week 1 and forgot to give Adrian Peterson the ball in week 1. Week 2, you have, I guess, a team that can probably go 6-4 in the ACC. And now you go against one of the most high-powered offenses in the NFL, in the Atlanta Falcons. And why I say high-powered, Matt Ryan's thrown 6 touchdown passes and over 700 yards in the first 2 games of the season. Atlanta knows how to score the football. It is what it is. The Bears struggle to score. The Falcons struggle to tackle. I guarantee you one thing. This will not come down to an onside kick this week.
You hope.
It better not for my sanity.
That's right.
I got the Falcons this one, not with the homer hat on. I think this is the game where even when I circled on the calendar, when the season before the schedule came out, I said this was a game Atlanta had to win. The Bears do have a good defense, but their defense will not. I think Atlanta hits the magic number of 28, and they win on Sunday because I don't think the Bears can score 28 points. Kyle, who you got?
So at the end of the day, if Mitchell Trubisky is your quarterback and you're trying to be involved in a shootout, you will lose. Period. Okay. Here's the thing. The way you stop good defenses is by being balanced on offense. And for all the jokes we make at the Falcons' expense, the Falcons have proven time and again that they are, in fact, a balanced offense. Now, granted, it's unfortunate that you were playing against Russell Carrington Wilson and that your special teams was too stupid to attack the ball on an onside kick, which is what you're supposed to do. That's a coaching fail. That's not a Falcons fail. And I say all that to say this, my friend. Raphael Haynes better have a good list of excuses ready because I'm pretty sure the Falcons are going to finish this one up. And if they don't, I will be writing the checks on this show for you to cash. Moving on.
Matt Nastaforta. I mean, listen, go look at Matt Ryan's numbers. There's not a Panther quarterback headed to Canton either. But I digress. Speaking of the Carolina Panthers.
Wait a minute. You don't think Cam's going to end up in Canton?
He'll end up as a member as a Patriot. All right. Speaking of the Carolina Panthers, since we segue into them, I wasn't going to. We're going to segue into them anyway. The Carolina Panthers travel cross country to take on the LA Chargers in the battle of 2 teams that are very interesting. It's interesting situations. So listen, Carolina, they were basically non-existent for almost 2.5 quarters. Well, actually, I might say almost 2 quarters, a little more than half football against Tampa. They wake up with Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey goes out with an ankle injury, down 7 points after scoring to get it to 7. And Carolina and the Panthers go Panther. Now they have to go travel cross country with no Christian McCaffrey. Mike Davis just started running back, and Teddy Bridgewater, for as good as he's been, is Teddy Bridgewater has to throw the ball. On the other side of the field, you got the LA Chargers, whose quarterback is now Justin Herbert, because your starting quarterback Tyrod Taylor is now out due to a punctured lung, not because he got hit, not because he woke up funny. The team doctor injured him trying to administer a cortisone shot. If If all the injuries in the world could possibly happen, your own trainer does it. Justin Herbert came in last week and it was actually really, really good. You talk about impressive rookie performances. Talk about what Burrow did. Listen, Justin Herbert was phenomenal in this game. Here's how I have this one. Rodney has it right. It's 0-3. The Chargers are going to be 2-1 and only one game behind Kansas City for first place. Kansas City and LA for first place in the division at this point. I got the Chargers, and I mean supercharging because here's the thing. Keenan Allen hasn't had that breakout game, and I think it happened Sunday against Carolina's soft secondary. Who you got, Kyle?
Hey, you mentioned the soft secondary. I'm going to go the other side. This is a team that had Patrick Mahomes running for his life. I think Teddy will find himself a bridge under dealing with troubled waters. See what I did there? And listen, that whole situation, Tyrod Taylor is easily the least lucky quarterback in modern NFL history. Just the moment he gets starting position, he gets hurt, and someone else comes in to finish the job. It happened in Buffalo, it happened in Cleveland, and now it's happening here in Los Angeles.
And the thing was, it should not have happened this way. Mm-hmm. They won the first game. They were going into week 2, and then he gets hurt right before the game starts.
But to this end, Justin Fields, listen, that performance is going to keep him confident. The defense is going to be confident. Man, I got the Chargers. I got them big here. I got a double-digit win here.
I know Anthony Lynn's saying that Taylor would get his job back when he's healthy. If Herbert has a good game or two, that job is gone. Sorry. I'm sorry. The job is gone. Speaking of the job is gone, well, Matt Patricia might be gone before this is all over with. The Lions are 0-2, and they're now going to take on, I'm going to call it the Kyle Nash Arizona Cardinals because Kyle has been on the Arizona flagpole literally since the start of the season. Kyle, this flagpole get higher and higher. Remember, you were on the Denver Nuggets before anybody else was. You picked Nuggets to go to the conference finals, and now you picked the Cardinals to go to the playoffs. Kyle, if they win Sunday, they're 3-0. They got the Detroit Lions. Kyle?
Cue up DJ Khaled. All they do is win, baby. Listen, I got them going 11 wins. I said it. I'll say it again. And this is another one of those 11 wins. And, hey, at this point, if they sweep the 49ers, they're going to have 12 games. Now, granted, it's a long way off before that second 49er game, and the Niners are famous for finding revenge on the road. But, listen, man, the Lions are inferior on offense. The Lions are inferior on defense compared to their opponents. What the hell is left? I have Arizona.
Listen, Kyler Murray's been really good the first couple of weeks. He's connected himself with DeAndre Hopkins at a whole new level. And when you connect with a guy with Hopkins at that type of level, it's going to make things so much easier. The transition's been really well. Now, Kenyon Drake needs to find himself in the offense running the football, but it's easier to get him in the running game than him being injured. Listen, the Lions
Drake's had good running numbers. Basically, he's had on par in yardage with, say, like a Derrick Henry, so he's not been doing bad.
Yeah, but this isn't. But Derrick Henry is not Derrick Henry right now. So when you say on pace for Derrick Henry, it's not the same type of numbers that you expect from Derrick Henry either. Henry's on the lower side, Drake's on the higher side.
But to get that much yardage with that much firepower in the air, give him a little credit, man. There's only one football.
Now, mind you, the Christian Kirk is not. I think Christian Kirk is out for Arizona. I know it's not. It's a big loss for Arizona, but in this game, it might not be a big loss. Arizona's 3-0. Wow. Speaking of teams in that big old NFC West of yours, because you called it, the main game on Sunday afternoon is the Dallas Cowboys and the Seattle Seahawks. The Cowboys survived and won in one of the most ugliest ways that you possibly could say. It is what it is. The Cowboys won the game, and guess what? Now they're 1-1. Now they get to go from Atlanta, who has a porous defense, to taking on the Legion of Boom and Jamal Adams and company doing their thing. All right, Kyle, you've been on the Russell Wilson bandwagon. Go ahead, my friend.
Oh, you mean talking about the guy that should have won the MVP in both 2017 and 2019? You're darn tootin'. Russell Carrington Wilson is a quarterback who will do a lot of good things, and Dak Prescott and that offense don't have enough firepower to come up if it's a shootout. Basically, their only hope is to do what the Patriots did. Pound them with Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott running the football and keep Russell Carrington Wilson off the field. When they fail to do that, Russ will take over. The game is over. Listen, the Cowboys are doing things that they shouldn't have done, in my opinion. They're opening 2-0 when they shouldn't have. You agree with it too? And that all ends here. The buck stops here. Seattle wins.
Listen, we're talking about the best quarterback in football.
In the NFC, can't argue with that. Let's not go crazy. I mean, I wouldn't put him ahead of Mahomes and L-Jack at this point.
I mean, listen, but if you're saying Russell Wilson's the MVP, you're going to say he's the best quarterback in football.
I'm saying he's doing the most with less.
I mean, listen, the Cowboys gave up a whole bunch of points to the Falcons in the first half and gave up 26 of them in the first half. Russell Wilson will throw the ball down the field. Seattle has competent special teams. Seahawks are 3-0. I mean, really, that's the only thing I say about it. Seattle's going to be able to get the ball up and down the field. Dallas is the most talented 1-2 team we're going to find in the NFL because they do have talent everywhere. They just caught a lucky break last week, and to be honest with you, they got outplayed in week 1 by the Rams. This game on the calendar was supposed to be a loss anyway. The Cowboys go 1-2, but they're still not a bad 1-2. Speaking of teams that are now at 1-2, we haven't talked about this game. Kyle,
no, the Cowboys aren't 1-2; they're 2-1, sir.
No, they're gonna be 1-2 on Sunday. They're 1-1 right now. They're gonna be 1-2. Remember, they lost week 1 to the Rams.
Lost to the Rams. Sorry, 1-2. You were correct. My bad.
Speaking of the team that could be potentially 1-2, the game on Sunday night includes. Hey, Precious. All right. Speaking of the team that can be 1-2, possibly, you're looking at the Green Bay Packers going down to New Orleans to take on the New Orleans Saints.
Ooh, the Saints got your Firebird works, fools.
Listen, the Saints actually have a chance to win this game. Reason being, Davante Adams is hurt. And if Davante Adams is ruled out on Sunday night, it leaves the Packers with 3 wide receivers. Now, if anybody can win 3 receivers, it's Aaron Charles Rodgers.
Good man.
The Saints are angry. They were supposed to win. They were supposed to ruin the Raiders' home opener on Monday night, and they couldn't do it. Right. Drew Brees and Tom Brady are in the battle to figure out who is the most underwhelming quarterback in the first 2 weeks of the season. Michael Thomas hasn't really gotten the offense because Michael Thomas isn't hurt, and Alvin Kamara is doing most of the heavy lifting. Mm-hmm. This game is completely different. If Davante Adams is good to go and he's anywhere near healthy, the Packers are 3-0. If Davante Adams is out, that means Martez Scantling. You have Alan Lazard. You're going to have to rely on those guys to win that game. And the Saints are at home, and things go crazy to buy you when you don't have all your weapons with you. I'm going to take the Packers for now, and that's my pick. Aaron Rodgers go down there and do it, but this could be the game where Breeze breaks out of it. Kyle, who you got?
I mean, we'll truly find out if Davante Adams is the big deal for this offense, but there's a name you haven't mentioned yet, and if you did, I missed it. With all due respect, Aaron Jones is the key to this game, not Alvin Kamara. And if he comes out and breaks 200 yards all-purpose, the Saints will have nothing. It'll be interesting to see if Aaron Jones will be asked to carry that much load 2 weeks in a row, but I'd love to see it. It takes Latimer out of the game as a corner. If they are carrying it that much on the ground, they don't really have a number 1 target. So really, where do they put him? I don't know. Aaron Rodgers, though, he'll do the thing. He'll be the Charles Rodgers that we've come to know and love. I don't think it's by 10 points. I think it's a situation where you have 2 teams that break 25, but I think it's the last team that has the ball at the end of the day. So I got the Packers probably on the last series of the game.
Speaking of the game, it won't go to the last game of the series. Last series of the game, the New York Jets go to Indianapolis, take on the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh boy!
I'm not saying much about this game because the Jets are horrible, and Phillip Rivers will be 2-1. Kyle, what you got?
So long as he doesn't throw 3 picks and toss the game away as he did in Week 1 to the Jags, I got the Colts. Simply put.
Speaking of tossing the game away, the game is the toss away game of the week. You have the 1-1 Cleveland Browns taking on the 1-1 Washington whatchamacallits. All right. When I say throw the game away, because if Baker Mayfield throws this game away, Brown fans are going to throw him away at this point.
Listen, though, don't rule out the Red Tails, man. They will strafe Baker Mayfield with that pass rush. I think this could be his most challenging game to date based on that alone. And Mayfield will truly be tested against Chase Young and company, Adam Carrington, Kerrigan, all those guys. Ryan Kerrigan. I said Adam. Ryan Kerrigan. At the end of the day, up front is what I want to see. If Baker Mayfield survives that onslaught, you'll see the Browns winning. But here's the confidence I have in Mayfield's ability to do that. I have the Red Tails. Danny.
Listen, we mentioned it before. The real key to this game on Sunday afternoon, Kyle, is not really just Baker Mayfield. Is can this offense run the ball like they did last week against the Cincinnati Bengals? Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt ran for over 200 yards as a duo. Mm-hmm. The best thing to have for a quarterback that's supposedly a gunslinger is to be able to run the football. So he doesn't have to be a gunslinger.
See Phillip Rivers and LaDainian Tomlinson and Michael Turner, et cetera, et cetera.
I mean, if you look at that, when you look at Phillip Rivers and what we have with the Colts, if Jonathan Taylor's running the football effectively, or Marlon Mack when he gets to be healthy again, or any of those running backs, it makes Phillip Rivers not have to throw the ball as much. And like I said, we're not throwing the ball as much. Guess what? You're not making mistakes. Mayfield, I think, will get the ball down the field. As long as they're running the football, they'll take some shots down the field. I think Beckham makes a big play. This might be the more commercials than wins. Hey, listen.
He ain't lying.
All I'm saying is this is the game where Mayfield will take a shot or two. I don't know if the corners are going to do it, but I think Austin Hooper, this is the Austin Hooper game that we're waiting for. If you're a Browns fan, you sign Austin Hooper to be that guy. This is one of those weeks that I think you have to make them. You got to make the Reds the whatchamacallits.
The Red team.
Yes, I mean, no, they're the whatchamacallits. Okay, the Washington whatchamacallits. You say Red Tails, I say whatchamacallits.
Hey, whatever the team is. W on the helmet. That's true. What? No, you're 0 for 65. You're about as worse as Carolina's on third down. Laquan. I don't know, Kyle, like a Laquan. All right. I guess.
I mean, listen, Rodney's off topic. And so
I more thought of myself as a Shaquem, but okay, you do you.
Kyle Shaquem Dash. Big shout out to our friend of the UCF family, Shaquem Griffin, as well too. You know, big shout. You guys throw shots when you get Shaquem on the show. All right. Speaking of off the topic, Kyle, you know what time it is, my friend, sir.
Oh boy. Top Mount Rushmore of nicknames for Kyle Nash.
No, Kyle, but it's time for Mount Rushmore. This is our favorite segment of the show. Kyle and I will take a topic and give our Mount Rushmore on it. Yep, our Mount Rushmore. Our Mount Rushmore is, and no, Bobby, tonight's topic will not be candy corn.
He killed my buzz, man. Damn it, candy corn.
But this is beyond the buzzer. So what me and Kyle do is we take a topic, and what we do is we give our Mount Rushmore on it. We give the top four, not in no particular order. We just put the four that would be on this version, the person's version of the Mount Rushmore. So the best part about it is Kyle has no idea what the Mount Rushmore topic is until I tell him.
No idea at all. None.
So, and even Bobby didn't know. Bobby did get it right on Monday. I don't know if you read my mind because I didn't tell him the topic.
That was fun.
All right. So, Kyle, listen. All right. We've talked about a multitude of things. We talked food. We talked sports. We talked beer. We talked wine. We talked wings. But Kyle, listen. When we talk about different topics every single week, but one thing we did not talk about, Kyle, is I know. When you look at things to do, we both have kids. We both have nights out. We both have family time, Kyle. But there's one thing that our children do, and something that we've always done, and that's play games.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kyle, what is your Mount Rushmore of games? And what I mean by games, board games, card games. That Patty might give a dog a bone games.
Parlor games in particular, it would seem, sir.
Any type of game, Kyle. Any type of fun game that you either play with your friends or your family. Kyle, what is your Mount Rushmore of games?
Let's get right off to it. Listen,
and video games do not count in this.
Right. Yeah. Conventional games only. No, I follow here. And listen, when it comes to Mount Rushmore, it is an American monument, but I'm going to go to the game whose title is Spanish. Uno for the win, baby. Hey, listen, by the way, don't play my 6-year-old. She will cut your throat at that deck, and I don't care. Listen, I don't know what I've done to raise her this way, but she's ruthless at Uno. And I don't even think she'll argue with that. But she'll probably just smile and laugh and be like, Daddy, I want an ice cream sandwich. But that's okay. Listen, at the end of the day, I got Uno to lead it off and to lead it off big. Next up, I got trouble with the Pop-O-Matic bubble. You want to talk about something that's cutthroat? The dice in that game. And how often that my daughter seems to come from behind to win 4-3. What is this? I hate games with dice. I always get ruined by that. But at the end of the day, I definitely got to do that for the sentimental pick of playing that with my daughter and her having a lot of fun with it. Honorable mentions, of course, are going to be Candyland and Chutes and Ladders. I'm not going to put those here, but listen, just to give the shouts for the time with the fam, that's going to be a great thing, and I'm sure my son will be doing it when he's old enough. For me, there's one essential thing that taught me to be the magnanimous man of wisdom that I can be at times. And of course, that's chess, none other than it. Listen, you could call it a tribute to my now departed dad, but I call it the thing that taught me to learn to look several moves ahead, not only on the board, but in life. So I got chess there at number 3. And lastly, listen, something where I always bust my gut. If I ever wanted to set up a situation where I found myself in a hernia from laughter, categories, my friend, for the win. So to wrap that all up, I have Uno, categories, chess, and trouble for my Mount Rushmore of games. Danny Thompson.
Bobby Blackjack in New Jersey. What you got, my friend? The big super producer.
Oh, this one's easy. As a former banker,
okay.
Monopoly.
Yep, there it goes. Honorable mention for sure.
As a quasi-intellect, Scrabble.
Okay.
And, of course, Blackjack.
Duh. Yeah.
And Texas Hold'em.
Okay. I mean, your name could be Bobby Blackjack if you didn't have Blackjack on the list. I mean, I knew that was coming sooner or later.
We like to spend his time. Listen, if there's ever a Super Bowl that we go to, it'll be the one in Vegas with Bobby Blackjack with those game choices. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. So, thanks to our super producer, Mr. Bobby Blackjack up in New Jersey. So, it's my turn to Mount Rushmore game. So, listen.
I like it.
You've got issues, sir. You've got more issues than the Panthers secondary. All right. Or you got more issues than Matt Rule's coaching decisions. All right. So, Mount Rushmore game. So, Bobby mentioned one of them. Now, to me, Scrabble's on this list, but Scrabble has a completely different meaning for me than compares to Bobby. My late brother, who passed away, was big in Scrabble. Me and him had Scrabble battles like it was nothing. He would go on the computer and play Scrabble for hours on the hardest level against, I know, the expert super level, and came up with words I'd never even heard of. He was a walking thesaurus. So Scrabble is going to be on the list because I just remember all those nights of playing him in Scrabble. On top of that, the next game on my list is also a game that my brother and I played on a regular basis, and that is Monopoly.
Sure.
All right. Now, mind you, I played plenty of games, and also my one of my childhood friends, Dwayne Ott, me, him, and my brother used to have these long 5-hour Scrabble Monopoly games. We literally play on a Friday night and literally play for 4 to 5 hours because we couldn't bankrupt the other person. Literally, we would go around the board and could not bankrupt anybody. Someone had to make trades, whatever it was. We would literally play until we couldn't play anymore. We're just tired. It is what it is. And besides, Monopoly is the only game where you can bankrupt somebody and not get in. It is what it is. And you're supposed to be aggressive. Now, the next game on my list, listen, this game starts fights. It starts rumbles. You get kicked in the throat for this game, and that is Uno. All right? Uno will start a fight because here's the thing. Uno is the only game where the rules have one thing, but people play completely different than the rules. How do I know? The draw 2 and draw 4 rule. There's nothing worse than having an Uno and someone hits you with a draw 97 because guess what? The whole entire board that you're playing with has draw 4s and draw 2s and everybody's stacking everything on everything. Mm-hmm. There's nothing worse, and trust me, there's nothing worse than you side-eyeing somebody, or there's nothing even better than making one of your buddies or your spouse or whoever draw 45 cards and they look at you like you're crazy. Last but not least, you're talking about a game that causes, you're talking about games that end friendships. This game ends friendships. This thing caused divorces. This is also a requirement for a lot of marriages. It's spades.
I knew it. See, yeah, you ain't wrong. I'll leave it at that.
Listen, I played spades at a historically black college, and there was nothing worse than playing spades and you losing. There's nothing also worse than somebody who plays off suit. Let's just say this. If you renege in spades, you might as well go ahead and change your name and move to Canada. Okay? Spades ruins marriages. It causes divorce. It might be in the top 5 when it comes to divorces in America because guess what? You're either A, your partner reneged, or B, your partner cut you and you lost the game, or something even worse that might be almost as bad as the rest of it. You underbidded on an 8 when you had 10.
Mm-hmm. And listen, the underbid kills friendships, man.
It kills friendships. It kills marriages. It kills partnerships. Okay? There's nothing worse than losing on a spades table. There's nothing worse, Kyle, besides losing. Can you imagine you and your partner getting a 10 or a Boston ran on you?
I actually Boston ran somebody with somebody else. It was the greatest victory for me and my buddy, but for the other two, they never played together again.
Listen, I told you, it separates everybody. So, back to my list. It is Scrabble. It is Monopoly. It is Uno, and it is Spades. Those are the Mount Rushmore games. Kyle, Bobby, do we have anybody? What do we have out in the audience site when it comes to the Mount Rushmore games?
See, Bobby, I see Bobby putting that. I'd be glad to kill him in space just to make him look dumb for saying it. It's okay. It's okay.
Bobby, do we have anybody else? Because I can't with Rodney tonight. I really can't. I can't.
Hey, you got to give him taboo. That's a good game.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, throwing dice at Allie. I'm not trying to get shot at. All right. Kyle, any shout-outs before we go?
Here comes Ashy Larry's dumbass. Anyway.
Here comes dumbass. Rodney is Ashy Larry. From now on, Rodney be referred to as Ashy Larry the Panthers fan. All right. Here comes dumbass Ashy Larry. Kyle, you got any shout-outs before we go?
First of all, listen, find me on Twitter at the SOTG. Find me on Instagram as the same, the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as the Student of the Game. And check out my writings on the 3pointconversion.com.
Big shout out to Drunk Twister and Kyle. No, Rodney, you're not saving it. Ashy Larry, no, you're not saving yourself for this one. Ashy Larry, the Panthers fan. Trust me, Facebook will know your name before this is over. It's like, Rodney, don't worry, I'll tag you in it later. All right. Big shout outs to everybody on the show, I guess, who stopped in. Rodney, Precious. We didn't see Mike DeSantis tonight.
But he's
Mike Patton. We didn't see Cortland tonight either. Big shout outs to him too. Big shout outs to everybody at 3 Point Conversion, the entire team over there. The team is growing so much I keep losing track of all the names of everybody. Also, everybody on I-95, Zingo Television. Nope. Ashy Larry. Rodney, Ashy Larry Richardson. All right. At the same time, big shout outs to everybody who tuned in the show, like, share, tag the show, and everybody else in between. Check out my work as well as on the 3 Point Conversion, as well as on SI.com. I'm releasing NBA articles all week on the Charlotte Hornets and their bubble camp, as well as other NBA news as well too. And before we go, we know what happened yesterday. Daniel Cameron made the decision, and the killers of Breonna Taylor got set free. And even though the charge was waiverment, whatever you want to call it, when shooting into the neighbor's house, we all know what happened. And hopefully that the evidence will show that it was not a fair investigation. Even though it did not turn out the way that a lot of us wanted it to happen, I'm still going to say the name of Breonna Taylor because we cannot let her name go into the night without keeping her name and keeping which the whole process was about. So the killer, the people, the officers got off. Hopefully there'll be more justice at the end of the day. That's all we can hope for. All I can hope for. Can't say we. All I can hope for, because I can't speak for everybody on the panel. So, but the good news is, after leaving that, the good news is Kyle and I will be back on Monday night at 9 p.m. So here is also the scheduling update. Kyle and I will go to Monday nights at 9 p.m. from 9 to 11 on October 12th, which is a Monday. So we're going to go one day a week, start October 12th. We're going to go for 2 hours. And then throughout the week, Kyle, myself, and maybe if Kyle has the time, we'll do pop-up Beyond the Buzzer, little pop-up things throughout the week. Kyle will have a student of the game section, breaking down UCF games, the visual-wise, on top of his work with three-point conversion. And I'll either break down an NBA topic or have one of my rants or whatever. But we're going to go one day a week from October until the end of the year. And then starting in January, as long as everything is good with Kyle and his family, because he's a homeschool dad at this point. He's a homeschooling parent. So after the first of the year, if everything is going good with Kyle and his daughter and his family is a better situation, especially with school, we'll go back to 2 nights a week. But yeah, October 12th, we'll be going to Monday nights on Zingo Television, Channel 198. We'll be on from 9 to 11. We don't care if the Monday Night Football game is involving the Atlanta Falcons and the LA Raiders. Doesn't matter. We'll be on the air. Don't worry, Manny. You still owe me. You owe me a 6-pack when it's all over with. All right. For myself, the SOTG, the baddest guy I know, my man by check up in New Jersey. I am Danny Thompson. We'll check you guys out on Monday for Beyond the Buzzer. Have a safe weekend and enjoy yourself. Peace.